First, from the waffle of nihilism, a quote. We climb into a synapse. We convert to rocket flares. He says his tongue moves like anglerfish. Says, come, taste. This is a trickle explosive. I come bearing a feathered tongue and an arousal beneath this scribe of this rainy dome, twice revolved, ribbons of air in white, erotic and close. Unzipped jaws before the covering of the foam, to rise and break open like hammer or mallet, brittle, little light-soaked eggs, we as time of arrival. Tonight, my road rumbles, and my dogs run and stumble, and the children cry. I whine as cords plugged, and the arrays erected. I whine as Eros whines. Moonlit dog wine, primordial rain festival shiver wine, a past with rusted points shuddering. Brush stroke of whitening, sky before our sockets, a molested tongue and a molested language. Less than thinker, more than cocoon, districts of scintillating pixels, grime of days, street cantata in oranges and blurs and blue, the carpet a sonata of scuffing. It was I, as I, what and woe, deliverer before the trembling gutters. It was I, the fly, dead but still buzzing on the wall, hitched upon a chain, carried across some tracks. I the dog, and I the child, and I the eye, and I the fly, scattered perfume of image, the cap of the bonfire, a distraction, waiting for her before the flames, her freshly, with a posture as lax as the trusting pup, and there is dust ignored throughout the home. Zones for rabbits and deer, aftermath psycho twist, circus of circuitry that kept quiet in even stance through a bellowing slew and a yearn to be of the yellowed. We strip and rip apart tattered plans for forwarding messages, apart a goring of alliances and common interests. We allied through maps. We move across Rouge Building and down Brittle Road. Decrepit slow conga, our hands on hips. She waits, stares, dirge of taxidermia, Doppler of olive tree sheathed, moon-bathed and creeping, us in dollops, virtual bluish wallops, the wine together. Upper black of lower back, gently unhinged, and she asks, how does your inner core lap? With a tongue knowing of servers and circuits, electrical currents and fibrous tendencies, blooms of light through a closed closet, a jellyfish glow. Outer lore continuum, our shadow of dark pylon gripping mythos in a silk scream, rigged splinters of a deathly calm, pre-thrust and a shrug of earth releasing new designs, for we are bound by such revolutions, such commotions. Before me lies this night, scream of golden frenzy, roused by a Spanish hum and Indian vocabulary, melting this flickering choice, flashing spark of a barn owl scrawl, wish lists within the abyss, sequence of faces held in books, torrents of memories before the meeting, the swaying of the melting and the smiles are born. We, as the beautiful wraiths who come to crave, sleep bearing our hungers, cyber scythes rested at each other's bedsides. We fret and thrill before the sheath of distance. We hold freezing toes as marks of will. We sit smoldering and gawking. We taste the blood of infinity and affinity. We part a sea of lust with rock and salt. We let loose new history upon emptied tables. We fuel the shivering script. We allow smoke to scrawl lazily. We forward our most feral abutments. We touch in digital. We trust our own bone dance, and we imagine fingers suck and utter the loudest silos of offerings. We know how to mouth our names. We know hearts mouthing rhythms. This, Shahrazad. Will it to yonder no yawn? Will it to wonder with a turned Adonis cheek? Will it to be pecked through owl beak? Seek the peaks and the deadest drops beneath a flourish of colorful new cards, beneath a trading of and meandering through ancient decks. Sampled and slack, the jaw is whining. We are winning with our held tongues and heavy eyes. We positioned strangely in our fogs. Dried and done to wilt is time, but water does release the upkeep of the flowers, even with the world's cruel patience. Will it to see that we've woven, will ourselves into each other's napes, will us at the return of twirling nomads, will us into our own limbs, shadows as the lock and key of the body, what is risque we are will into. We are farm, and so we crab along. We learn to loan our love as bunnies do. We pick up leaves like the deepest rain gutters and chant. As the seeds of the strips, so are we. As the properties of the erupted, so are we. As we flawed rub tongues together, so are we. We with mouth flesh like lipids, we sitting upon the microscope, we listen, we, oh dearest Shahrazad, we watch changelings emerge unscathed, we watch those covered in scarves make shallow graves, we as bristling bushes thrown down the sides of hills. Through you we must colorize, through me, lenses imprinted with labels, we must loiter our conspiracies in muffles. We must infer, and then we must wash. Bend backwards, crawling, gutted to the wind. Sky that slips and shudders, we positioned like worn rags. Transformation as prickly poof. The blotch and the bleach, embers, coal, cruxes. Contest in arson or some such beacon of blood. Concrete burying deep. Storm basins all a-sizzle. Evaporating pink heat. Soft flesh left composed, omen of pearl and ponder, decision through me, through its way. Shahrazad scorches emboldened, blazing coals for eyes, coughing to attention, trough of purple tripwire, limb of call lash. O Shahrazad, do splice to me, splice so my smiles are earthquakes, splice so I quiver to a halt. Splice for the clearest vision, splice as tires tread beginning to grab, splice as automobiles continue to burst, splice houses and homes, splice for the weeping that damns us, for the weeping that comes and then deserts us. We are principles mimed and we must join. Shahrazad and meaning through the questing calm and the beaming of Eros, through the squint of coral, Shahrazad, that to be seen together before switches and tools are taken, before the blades shorn their take. Locotoros stabs himself, fractures and fragments upon us. Shahrazad juts open the doors. She knows my violence, the rivers of quivering. Shahrazad knows beyond and before. We must take them on the shores of the lakes I call home. Lakes I dove into brooding, brutal lakes and brutal nights. We must show signals, ashen sigils, touch wrist to pocket, find entrances and clutches. We must open with hypnosis, utter erosions and hiccups, believe in the oncoming pyroclastic flows, while lichens and lychees follow us freely, and there is a babble of lavender. We must, as manifestations must. Knees bent wildly, we have left to bleed. We must continue through.